welcome to the Webcast for Tuesday, June 17th. I'm South Ops meteorologist Jonathan O'Brien. It is another mostly sunny start to the day. In fact, it's the least amount of marine cloudiness we've seen yet in this stretch, thanks to a little more of a northerly offshore component to the wind this morning. This will set the stage for another sunny and warm day today. Here's a look at some current wind observations in Southern California this morning, with the wind gust values shown in red, filtered to only show stations gusting at or above 20 miles per hour. Winds are generally on a decreasing trend, but we do have some lingering westerly to northerly winds from the Mojave Slopes down to the I-5 corridor and Santa Barbara County, as well as through the Banning Pass and out into the deserts. Another very warm day is on the way as temperatures remain several degrees above normal, with valleys in the upper 80s to near 100, upper 70s and 80s in the lower mountains, and continued triple digits in the deserts. It will remain very dry as well today, with minimum humidity remaining in the upper single digits and teens away from that shallow marine layer, with low to mid single digits in the deserts. There have been no significant changes to the forecast for the next several days. Weak high pressure is in control of our weather following the weak trough passage yesterday, and it will remain our main influence through Thursday before it starts to shift off to the east. We then expect a deep trough to dig into the west coast Friday and into this weekend, and likely anchor itself over the region at least through the early part of next week, bringing a much cooler weather pattern. We will continue to see locally elevated fire weather conditions the next couple of days as it remains very warm, dry, and locally breezy, though local and diurnally driven winds should generally dominate today and Wednesday as breeziness from this morning diminishes. By Thursday, more widespread elevated conditions are expected as winds begin to increase ahead of that deep trough. The hot, dry, windy index for Thursday shows at least some potential for a lot of areas to reach or exceed the 90th percentile. Temperatures will remain warm with little overall change through Thursday. We have high confidence in a big cool down this weekend. Here's a look at Saturday's forecast highs. Valley highs will be only in the 80s, in some cases low 80s, with most areas seeing 12 to 18 degrees of cooling versus early this week. A much deeper marine layer can be expected with more extensive low cloud coverage, and coastal areas likely not clearing at all on some days from Friday through early next week. However, while there will be cooling everywhere, the interior and especially the deserts will remain very dry, and that trough will bring a strong onshore wind push as well. Southwest to northwest winds of 25 to 40 miles per hour with gusts to 60 miles per hour will surface across the mountain ridges and through the desert passes Friday through the weekend. That is quite impressive for this time of year, and as a result, elevated to critical fire weather conditions are likely in the deserts Friday and Saturday. While major desert fires are uncommon due to lack of fuel and lack of starts in most desert areas, the weather conditions will certainly support rapid fire spread in areas east of the Sierra Crest and down into the Mojave Desert and the desert slopes of Southern California. However, most other areas will see a reduction in fire danger with the cooler weather, deeper marine layer, and at least somewhat higher RH. Conditions by Sunday, and especially Monday and Tuesday, look uneventful region-wide as temperatures remain on the cool side and winds weaken. Dead fuel moistures remain well below average in most areas away from the coast, and for several PSAs are at or near records for this time of year in the 100-hour time lag class. We'll see continued drying trends and more in the way of record territory in the next couple of days. However, you can see now a more substantial moistening trend being shown in the forecast by early next week, so there is relief in sight. ERCs have trended notably above average as well, and we are seeing conditions more in line with mid-July than mid-June in a lot of areas. ERCs, too, will drop off pretty substantially in most areas with the upcoming cooler weather, but we still have a few hot and dry days to get through. Large fire potential will remain elevated today and likely through at least Thursday due to the continued warm, dry, and locally breezy conditions. Potential will decrease Friday and Saturday, but again we'll have to keep a very close eye on the deserts for those days. And then fire potential should become quite low by early next week with continued cool weather, a deep marine layer, and less wind. In the meantime, grass-dominated fuels remain the most likely to support significant fire spread on any well-aligned starts. However, with a lot of drying under our belts from the past 7 to 10 days, there is some potential for brush and understory fuels to start becoming more receptive, especially below 4,000 feet. Expect moderate initial attack activity to continue through Thursday, then likely a decrease late this week and into next with the cooler weather. That's it for today's webcast. Thanks for joining us. The next one will be on Wednesday, June 18th.